This year I've made over 5 figures in multiple trades, and this video will break down how I did it and how you can too. Let's get straight into it. So hopefully you guys are familiar with how we trade at option drops. So looking for the break and retest, long dated options, none of that short dated gambling stuff, and just staying focused on the plan and strategy. So later on in the video, I'll be going over TradeZella, journaling your trades. How you guys can use journaling to your advantage. Then also I'll be going over leaps and why leaps are so beneficial. I've talked about leaps a lot on this channel, why buying time in your contracts is the best thing you can do. And as you guys will see in the next section, leaps are primarily where most of my money was made this year. Now yes, if you guys watch my short form content, a lot of the trades in them are contracts under 30 days expiration, but that's because for live trades, it's hard to show a swing trade, show my thought process, which is kind of what these long form videos are for. It was showing my thought process, what I was thinking, while the short form content is more for quick scalps, trading a couple contracts. I'm not really putting too much money into position size. Leaps are where most of my money is made and where the big trades come from. I don't like sizing into really short dated volatile contracts. I'd rather size in a couple of $10,000, $15,000 in the trade for a contract that has 400 plus days to expiration, where I can make about like 30 to 40% on a contract that expires in 2 weeks out, and you'll walk away with $500 profit. Whereas if I'm taking a leap contract, I can sit there, let them do their thing. They might swing up and down a couple $1,000s, but ultimately, as you guys will see in the next section, that's how I was able to make $20,000 on one trade just by sitting there buying NVIDIA. And obviously, as you guys know, start of the year, NVIDIA went from $400 pre-split up to about like $900. So pretty solid trade, can't complain. But let's waste no more time. Let's jump with the computer and I'll break it down for you. So let's just start here on NVIDIA. So this is my biggest trade of the year for 2024. It was about $20,000. I guess if you count I closed in 2024, but that's kind of how it all shook out. But pretty much what happened here is, if you guys remember last year, this is pre-split NVIDIA. It was kind of stuck in a rectangle between $500 and $400. I was getting pretty frustrated trying to trade NVIDIA. I kept on getting stopped out on short day contracts. I was having a hard time kind of reading the market. I said, you know what? Instead of trying to time the market, and trying to catch these short-term moves, I'm just gonna buy a leap contract. I took a look in the mirror. I said, you know what? I looked at my past trades. I said, all of my best trades have come from buying leaps on companies like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Tesla, and they're just letting them do their thing, really not interfering with the trade too much, and just letting them do what they do, which is go up over time. So I took a step back and said, you know what? I'm not gonna keep on losing money scalping NVIDIA. Again, pre-split, so it's pretty volatile all the time. I took a step back and said, you know what? I'm just gonna buy a $400 call in the money for June 21st, 2024. Ultimately, my risk was down here to the low of the rectangle, like 407. Again, don't get me wrong, I was in some drawdown this trade. We scroll down here on TradeZella. You can see I bought this contract for about $94 a contract. Ultimately, I was gonna stop out below if you broke the rectangle down here on NVIDIA, which was around like $71 a contract. Now, luckily, as you were dropping down here, I did hedge my position a little bit, so I was buying puts down here on the drop on NVIDIA. So I was able to make some money back on the downside, and then I was able to let the rebound do its thing. So that could be a whole different video, just hedging your position, buying contracts with a closer expiration, scalping those for some money, some cash flow, and then letting the leap do its thing. Because again, there's gonna be some down days on these stocks. You're not always gonna go up. You're gonna have to sit through some more drawdown. Again, more drawdown comes with more risk, but again, if you have the account size and your account's at a decent size, buying a leap and just hedging a position can be a great strategy as well. And this $9,000 position that started when I bought it, I closed around $300 contract. So before you know it, this NVIDIA leap was about my entire account was about $30,000 in my account. So building that cash flow, so it's not dominating your account too much, and those swings are getting too big for your account, and getting hard to stomach. So again, I can make a video going over hedging. So let me know if you guys want to see that. It was really pretty straightforward here. It really required no thinking. I'm tired of this scalping NVIDIA thing. I don't like it. I'm losing money. I'm getting frustrated. Let me just buy a leap. And obviously, once NVIDIA broke out to start 2024, the contracts went from 138 contracts, so it was up $4,000 at this point. If you guys were around trading NVIDIA, pretty much just went up in a straight line. So that contract, I went up to about $30 a contract or $300 a contract. So $20,500, that's where I closed out. Really solid trade there, can't complain. Again, let's go down to the running P&L. Again, I had some drawdown here. I was down about $2,000-ish at the lows, $3,000-ish roughly. But again, I was hedging my position. And then again, just kind of sat around, break even, up $3,000, up $2,000. And then once NVIDIA finally got the breakout, because I bought time on my contracts, and we went from up $2,000 on the trade to up about $20,000 in a matter of 2 weeks, a month. And this was actually a really cool trade for me, because if you guys don't know, I moved out here to Tennessee, and I was still getting my setup. I was really trading on the floor. I had no desk, nothing. I had to buy my desk and bring it here to Tennessee. But the second I got my desk all set up, I looked over at NVIDIA. I'm like, wow, this thing just made me $20,000 in the matter of 4 months. So really cool trade. I remember making this amount of money working at Kroger for a whole year. So it's pretty, remarkable looking at these numbers, seeing what leaps can do and buying, good companies with time can do. Now, here's my second biggest trade of the year. Yeah, again, same thing. I bought an NVIDIA leap. And so even as my last trade was going up, I was still kind of scalping calls right now and then just to build my cash flow and build my cash position, because it got to the point where my $400 strike was so deep in the money, it had a delta of about 1. So every dollar NVIDIA went up or down, I was going up about $100, especially as NVIDIA is trading $30 to $40 a day. It can be, pretty nerve wracking. You're seeing such big swings in your P&L. So I just wanted to reduce my position, reduce my delta, roll this trade out, roll my previous trade out, and capture more of the move. Yeah, for some reason, I think the numbers are wrong here on TradeZella, but I bought the contract for around $120 a contract, so about $12,000. I'm pretty sure how it worked out is I rolled my previous position into this trade. So like I said, I was trying to reduce my delta exposure, but I think I bought somewhere up here, which would make a bit more sense after I closed my previous NVIDIA trade. So I think if I had to guess, I would have bought this leap around this date, like Tuesday, February 6th, after I closed the previous trade. So at the highs on this contract, you're seeing up here about like $350 a contract. So I was up about, again, another $20,000. Again, kind of got greedy here on NVIDIA. I let it pull back to about $236 a contract, so about $23,000 total in the trade. If it's good enough to screenshot, it's good enough to sell. I definitely could have done a better job managing this position. I was just trying to go for my biggest trade of all time, which would have been about like $30,000. Got greedy, took an L, gave back some profits, but again, same story here. NVIDIA pushed up to highs of about 970, started pulling back, consolidating sideways. NVIDIA was just kind of stuck in a little rectangle between like 840 and 960. Again, pretty big swings here. Again, doesn't look that big on the chart, but if you guys make this Y-axis a bit bigger, this is a big range on NVIDIA. You're trading about like highs of 960 up here, and you're going back to lows of 840. So you're moving about like $120 in like weeks on end. That's definitely a big P&L swing if you guys aren't used to that. So I just kind of got tired of watching NVIDIA do nothing. It was kind of breaking this little low right here, like 840. So I just stopped out for only a $12,000 profit on the trade. I could have got more on it, but got greedy. But you live and you learn. And after this, NVIDIA split, and now you're sitting at like $1,500 a share. So who's to say how much I would have made on this trade if I just held it? But I can't complain. Just on NVIDIA alone, 4 months in the year, I was about like $30,000, almost $40,000 being included on my scalps. So pretty solid trading year on NVIDIA so far. And that's my second biggest trade of the year. I'll get into my third one now. So my third biggest trade on the year, again, who would have thought? NVIDIA yet again. I did the same exact thing. I bought some more leaps on NVIDIA for 2026 this time. Now this one, I wasn't a bit more drawdown. It was a bit more nerve wracking, but again, you have a plan. You let the market do its thing. Average down if you have to, because you have time on these contracts. You'll bring your cost basis down slightly, and then it plays out over time. So right here on NVIDIA, I started buying some leaps for 2026, the $95 calls. And all these positions I bought inside of Discord. So if you guys are in Discord, you should be eating good off these trades. Now, I'm still actively in this position. I'm up. So far, my closed P&L is about $4,000. I still have 2 more contracts left in it. I initially bought 2 at like $47 a contract. Then you had the yin carry trade and kind of, tank the market. I bought 2 more at lows. I was gonna buy more, but Charles Schwab and all these other brokers are down, so it kind of set me back a little bit. So I bought more the following day. And then over time, over the next 3 months, NVIDIA began to rebound. Bought 1 more as I was preparing for the breakout at 142. Then once you finally broke out to new highs on NVIDIA at like 150, I sold 2 contracts at $65 a contract. I'm still holding 2 more contracts. NVIDIA's not really doing too much right now, so we'll see where I take these last 2 contracts. So about open P&L about like $1,400 right now. So net, if I close right now, I'd be up about like 5K. Decent trade for me. Again, same story here. I bought leaps on NVIDIA, let them do their thing. So the biggest thing why we emphasize journaling your trade so much is because it can really give you an insight of where your strong areas in the market are, where your weaknesses are, and what you should keep on doing to have a repeatable strategy and a system that can work for days on end, weeks on end, and ultimately years on end if you guys want to be in this for a long time. So looking here, this is about like the past year and a half of my trades. Majority of my trades expire in over 10 plus days. So just based off journaling my trades, I started to recognize, I'm really bad at trading same day expiration contracts. They're really volatile, and that's where I lose the most money. So being a logical and reasonable person, I said, instead of doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, I just stopped trading same day contracts, and I shifted my focus to where I'm making a majority of my money. Contracts that expire in 10 plus days, which is where majority of my trades have been by an overwhelming margin. Now, some days I trade like 7 plus days to expiration. I trade those pretty well. But anything close to 4 days, I'm not really too good at trading, and I don't like trading them. But 10 plus days, this is going back the last year and a half, I made around $50,000 just trading these 10 plus days to expiration contracts, and it's worked out pretty well for me. So seeing that my data shows me that, I just stop doing what doesn't work and I start doing what does work, and I can repeat time and time again and have a really profitable strategy and profitable system. So be sure you're drilling your trades. Use a platform like TradeZella. Unfortunately, we don't have a referral code, but get in here, look at this data, recognize what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And that's why for me, I've noticed I was trading these same day, short day contracts pretty poorly. I cut them out of my strategy, cut them out of my system, and primarily have shifted my focus to these 10 plus day contracts expiration. And just following the system and knowing what works for me has allowed me to do lots of really cool things, and really changed my life for the better, which I don't think would have been possible if I wasn't drilling my trades, documenting my journey, and really taking this thing serious like a job, and having an insight on everything I'm doing right and everything I'm doing wrong. Even if you guys don't use a platform like TradeZella, use something to write down your thoughts. Apple has the new journal app. You can write on pen and paper, just something you guys can write things down, try to get statistics about your trading, and then you can learn what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. So before we end the video, I'll give you guys some more piece of advice. So the first thing is keep in mind how you want to build your account. And my next video I'll post is going to be going over my goals or my plan for 2025. How I plan to diversify my money into my different accounts. So that should be an interesting video. You guys are working on building your account. So the biggest thing is obviously leaps are expensive, but if you can't afford leaps, I just focus on trying to build your account up right now. Stay away from these short dated option contracts. They're really volatile. You're probably gonna lose more money than you make on these short dated option contracts and going back to working your 9-to-5 job at McDonald's trying to recoup your account. If you guys want to start making these big trades, yes, you can gamble. I'm not gonna stop you from gambling your hard-earned money on short dated option contracts. You can make a lot of money doing that. I've done it before as well. But as you guys have seen, majority of my big trades, pretty much all of them actually, have come from contracts expiring over a year. Now, yes, I have a couple of trades where I make like $1,000, $2,000 profit, but I'm not putting as much money into those trades as a contract that expires in over a year because I have more time on my side. Names like Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, they usually go up over time. So I'm just making money based on the growth of those companies. And the stock market usually goes up over time. I'm just trading the overall trend in the market. Now, yes, if you're buying leaps in the market like 2022, that can be pretty rough. You may have taken a big loss on those. But as we re-enter the bull market in 2023, into 2024, and going into 2025 now, buying leaps has been a really profitable strategy. It really requires almost no thought. Just buy good companies or companies that have shown growth potential and just hold them. It requires minimal thinking. I'm not sitting there stressing about my leap every day. Now, yes, if Nvidia goes down 4%, my account may take a short-term hit, but again, that's why I'm buying time on my contracts and giving them time to work out and let Nvidia do what it does, which is normally go up over time. And finally, like I kind of mentioned in the last section, stay away from short-dated option contracts. More often than not, yes, you can make money gambling on earnings or stuff like that, unpredictable events, but more often than not, once I stopped trading short-dated option contracts, that's when I started making more money and focusing on great setups as opposed to trading these weekly contracts, scalping them for a couple $100s. Once I started shifting my focus towards further out expirations, leaps, things like that, where I can actually let my money grow for me and just sit there really no stress at all, that's when I started making more money. I've had some really big trades trading weeklies, but it was not sustainable for me, especially doing things like option drops, building a business, things like that. I don't want to be sitting there stressing about my positions, my weeklies every single day. Now, if you guys are in the same position where you guys have a business, you can't look at the charts all day, leaps are going to be more beneficial for you because you're not sitting there monitoring your trade all day, letting negative thoughts get in your head. All you gotta do is watch your leap. If it breaks a key level, stop out. If not, just let it ride the 90 EMA or something to the upside. That's really all that it comes down to. And those are really the key strategies that help me make multiple 5-figure trades this year. Focusing on tools like TradeZella, using leaps to my advantage, working on building my account step by step, and staying away from things like short-dated options. And the biggest takeaway from all of this is just discipline, patience, and sticking to what works. Now, if you start applying these principles and things I covered in this video, you'll probably start seeing results too. It's not guaranteed, but it's definitely likely. Now, if you guys found this video helpful, be sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Peace.